You check the number on your door every time you come home. You don't think about it. You just glance up, confirm it, and go inside. It's a habit, a small, automatic ritual most people never notice they're performing. But somewhere, in a building you've never seen, a woman performed that same ritual for 3 years before she realized the number on her door didn't match the number on any city record. Her name isn't important. Her building is. It sat on a quiet street, the kind with old brick and iron fire escapes. 4 stories, 12 units. She lived in Unit 6B. She paid rent to 6B. Her mail came addressed to 6B. Her lease, signed and notarized, said 6B in black ink. But the building only had 11 mailboxes. She noticed it on a Tuesday. Nothing dramatic. She was checking for a package and counted the little brass doors in the lobby. Not of boredom more than suspicion. 1, 2, 3. She got to 11 and stopped. There was no 12th box. No slot for 6B. She told herself it was a maintenance thing. A box that had been removed and never replaced. Buildings are old. Things get lost. She went upstairs, and her key still worked, and her apartment still smelled like her coffee from that morning, and she let it go. Except she didn't. Not really. Because once you notice something like that, you can't stop noticing it. That's not superstition. That's a documented feature of how attention works. Psychologists call it the frequency illusion. The same effect that makes you suddenly see a certain car model everywhere after you buy one. Your brain doesn't manufacture new information. It just stops filtering out what was already there. And once she stopped filtering, she started finding more of it. The building directory in the lobby, the one bolted to the wall since before she moved in, listed tenants for units 1A through 5B. Then it skipped straight to 7A. No 6A, no 6B. She lived in an apartment the building's own directory insisted did not exist. She asked the super about it. He shrugged, told her the directory was outdated, told her the numbering had been redone years ago and nobody bothered updating the plate. It happens. Cities renumber buildings all the time. It's a documented practice, going back over a century, when entire streets in cities like New York were renumbered in bulk to fix decades of inconsistent addressing. Whole blocks changed overnight. Records got tangled. So maybe that was it. Maybe 6B was just a ghost of old paperwork. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. Because a few weeks later, she got a knock at her door, late, past 11. She looked through the peephole and saw a delivery man holding a package, checking a slip of paper. "Is this 6B?" he asked. She said yes. He looked confused. Told her his GPS, his app, his manifest, none of them recognized the address as valid. He'd had to call his dispatcher twice just to get someone to confirm the drop-off. He handed her the package anyway. She thanked him. She closed the door. She didn't open the package for 2 days. When she finally did, it wasn't for her. It was addressed to a name she didn't recognize, at her apartment number, dated 3 years before she'd moved in. Now, you have to understand, this could still be nothing. Misprinted labels happen. Old tenants forget to update their information. Every rational explanation was still sitting right there on the table. But she started asking around. The woman in 5B, the unit directly below her, said something that stuck. Said she'd lived there for 8 years and never once, not one time, heard footsteps from the apartment above. Not creaking, not water running through the pipes, nothing. She just assumed 6B was vacant, which meant that for 8 years, someone below her believed no one lived above them, while someone above them paid rent, signed a lease, and slept every night in a bed that, according to the building, wasn't there. She started sleeping with the light on, not because of any single piece of evidence. None of it, on its own, was proof of anything. A missing mailbox, an outdated directory, a confused delivery man, a neighbor who never heard her walk across her own floor. But dread doesn't usually arrive as one large, undeniable fact. It arrives as a pile of small ones, each easy to dismiss, that eventually get too heavy to keep dismissing. She started documenting things. Photos of the mailboxes, a copy of her lease, the delivery slip with the stranger's name on it. She figured if something was wrong, she'd want proof. She figured proof would make her feel safer. It didn't. Because the more she looked, the more the building seemed to resist being looked at. The lobby directory that listed no 6B was replaced with a new one a week later, this time skipping straight from 5B to 8A, as if 6 and 7 had never existed at all. The super told her it was a printing error. She stopped asking the super things. She started hearing sounds that weren't quite footsteps, not loud, not aggressive, just the specific, deliberate weight of someone walking slowly across a floor that, according to everyone downstairs, had no floor above it to walk across. She moved out 4 months later, broke her lease, ate the fee, didn't tell her landlord why, because there wasn't a why she could put into words that wouldn't make her sound unwell. Here's the detail that stayed with the people she told this story to. The detail that made them check their own doors when they got home that night. When she called the property management office months later to ask one last time whether Unit 6B had ever officially existed, the person on the phone paused for a long time before answering, then said, carefully, that the building's records showed 12 units, that every unit was currently occupied, that there was no record of anyone by her name ever having lived there at all. Her lease said otherwise. Her bank statements said otherwise. 3 years of her life said otherwise. But the building didn't remember her. And somewhere, in an apartment with a number that comes and goes depending on who's counting, someone is still receiving her mail. You checked the number on your door when you came home today. You always do. It's automatic. A habit so small you'd never think to question it. But now, tonight, when you go to check it again, really look. Count the doors on your floor. Count the mailboxes in your lobby. Make sure the numbers still match. Because some buildings only let you notice they're wrong once.